All right, here we go. Welcome back to Real Estate Bites, where we bring you real estate information every Friday at lunchtime. Give you some good tidbits in the real estate world for you to chew on. We come here live every Friday at noon on Facebook, LinkedIn. Used to go live on Twitter, but Elon has now made me have to pay for the privilege. So my audience is here, so I really wasn't that interested in paying Elon Musk any more money just to go live on Twitter. So here we are on Facebook and LinkedIn, and we're coming at you. All right. I like to bring news here. On occasion, I like to just pull back the curtain on the industry and give you guys some insight as to what real estate agents or other professionals in the business do on a day-to-day basis. And that's one of the things that we're going to get into today. Wanted to talk to you guys about branding. A lot of talk about branding. Branding was a buzzword that's probably lost its luster at this point. But it's obviously important for any business person to focus on brand from time to time and obviously create as strong a brand as they possibly can. So how do you do that as an individual real estate agent? That's what we're going to talk about today. Before we do that, though, let's get into this week's little chuckle. Here we go. When you meet those new clients, you're all glitzy and glamorous, but after you've been out and about with them for a while, you don't need to impress them much, right? You just you can kind of roll out of the house with whatever casual stuff you got going on there. But you know what? I also wanted to bring this up because why do they got to do Anne Hathaway like this? I mean, she's so beautiful and talented. She's even still beautiful in this picture on the right. I don't know why they chose these pictures of Anne to make this joke. At any rate, let's get into today's topic. So I'll tell you guys, when I was young in this industry, and for years after that, I was always looking for, how do I make myself stand out? How do I make my message different, my appearance different than the other agents around me? And, this is a tall task. We got in Lorain County, where, most of the information and stuff that I bring to you is focused on Lorain County, to where I live and operate. I mean, I've sold houses as far east as Youngstown, as far south as Canton, as far west as Norwalk. But most of my business happens here in Lorain County. So that's where the focus is. In Lorain County alone, there's about 700 real estate agents. In the greater Cleveland area, there's over 5,000 real estate agents. I mean, that's a lot of competition. That is a lot of real estate agents trying to sell. There's half as many houses on the market as there are real estate agents in this region. So there's a lot going on. So how do I create a message and a look, an appearance, a brand that's different than other people? You see a lot of the same posts on Facebook, a lot of the same type of posts, just listed, come see my open house. Another one sold. Hey, here's my new friends. Congratulations. And I do some of those to date. Some I used to do that I no longer do. But again, it's a very, very common thing to see. And I'm not trying to dog on those who do it, because you have to do it. Real Estate Bites is very much my attempt at branding and at separating myself from my competition here in the marketplace, because like all those other folks who are posting, you have to have a presence online. You have to have a social media presence. There are far too many potential clients and customers, past clients and customers, who are on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, whatever. You have to have a presence. So what do? So I know that a small portion of agents use video. I know it's a very powerful medium. And I had done hundreds of videos before I started doing Real Estate Bites, but I was not consistent. And so Real Estate Bites was my commitment first to myself to be consistent on social media. And now that I've grown an audience, now the commitment is also to you guys. I feel a lot of pressure every week to bring relevant content. So at any rate, how do you create a brand in a marketplace that is so huge and there's so much competition. Well, I'm here to tell you there is a number of ways, and I want to talk to you about what I think is the best and most solid way to make this happen. So what is a brand? Let's talk about, let's define that first. When I just looked up some definitions, AI, when I just typed it into Google, told me that a brand is a product, service, or concept that is distinct from others and is associated with unique identity. So, I mean, right there, distinct from others. How do you distinguish yourself from the other 5,000 plus agents in the greater Cleveland area? Forbes said your brand is what your prospect thinks when he or she hears your brand name, both factual and emotional thoughts, right? So, what it comes down to is your brand and your reputation are one and the same. So let's dig into this. Let's talk about how to affect those things in the best way possible to create a sustainable business. I think before we really dig into the how, we need to dig into the what, and understand. It's critical that we understand this, and simply this. Your market as a real estate professional, your market is ubiquitous, and your professional and personal lives are inseparable. Okay? Your market is ubiquitous, and your personal and professional lives are inseparable. So your market is ubiquitous. What does that mean? It means it's everywhere, all the time. Every housing is a universal need. Everyone needs to live somewhere. So every person is a potential prospect at some point or another. It's ubiquitous. It's everywhere all the time around us. I mean, in my time, I've had other active licensed agents twice as my clients, right? I have sold properties for other agents twice in the last 7 years, almost 7 years of doing this. So again, the market's huge, and you're not trying to please everybody all the time. That's not possible. That is not what you want to do. You don't want to be so vanilla and generic that you have nothing that people can connect with. You have to be you. You have to be authentic, but your next prospective customer is literally all around you at all times. And so with knowing that, it goes hand in hand with that next aspect of your personal and your professional life is inseparable. No matter where you're at or what you're doing, you're still a real estate agent. You're still a real estate professional. No matter where you're at or what you're doing, this is not a gig where you can clock out at 4 and go home and you're completely separate. Your personal life is completely separate from your job. Whatever you do there isn't going to affect your job. That's not, we're always on. We're always on 24/7. That doesn't mean you have to take the call at 10 o'clock at night, 9 o'clock, even 8 o'clock. You don't have to do that, but you're still on. You're a licensed professional by the state. You're a public figure. You work odd hours, all hours, every day of the week. And no matter where you go or what you do, you are representative of yourself, your brand, your broker. It doesn't end, right? So that, first and foremost, when it comes to building this brand, you got to ask yourself, what am I doing with my time? Okay. What are you doing with your time? Are you playing video games in your spare time, right? Are you reading a book? Are you watching television? Are you getting shit-faced at the bar? Are you volunteering with your community? What are you doing with your time? And how are you doing it? So first of all, if you're just reacting to the market, especially if you've been an agent, say less than 5 years, if you're reacting to the market and you're not spending time thinking and strategizing about how you're going to impact the market, and you're just waiting for things to come to you and then reacting to it, I'm willing to bet you're struggling right now. I'm willing to bet you're having a hard time finding business and sales, because the other agents who are intentional with their plans, who are intentional with their strategy, they're winning the business that you think you deserve. Okay, so what are you doing with your time? If you spend your free time playing video games or watching television, how are you going to build a brand? Who's going to know your name? Okay. If you're spending your free time at the bar singing karaoke, getting wasted. Okay, yeah, now you're out and about and people are seeing and watching, but that's the name you're creating for yourself. You are now so-and-so agent with such and such brokerage, party guy, party girl, karaoke king or queen, right? That becomes your brand. And hey, that's going to work. That might work. That works for some people, I'm sure. It's been quite a while since I've even had a drink, so you're not going to catch me in that situation. But there are people who do plenty of business at the bar. I know them. Okay. And then they're pretty successful. That's their brand. They're the cool party girl, party guy, always a good time, always great to hang around with. That works for some people. Okay. But if you go and you get shit-faced and you act a fool, that's also a part of your brand. People are going to remember that. People are going to, when they're talking to one another, that's what they're going to talk about. So are you out in your community? You know, my philosophy for building a brand and for building your business is centered on service within your community. Okay. If you work in service of others at all times, you're probably going to do okay. All right. If you're focused on how you can bring value into people's lives, not just as a real estate agent, or even a resource regarding real estate things, but whether you're volunteering in some capacity in your community or with a group, whether a church group or some sort of Boys and Girls Club or at the local kennel or whatever it might be, you're out there and you are creating your brand. Now, what's important to consider also is what is the demeanor that you're bringing when you're out there doing those things? Are you showing up at the volunteer event whining and bitching about stuff? Or are you showing up with positive energy? Are you showing up ready to work and go for it and make things happen and bring smiles to people's faces? Or are you showing up just going through the motions, giving a half-assed effort? Because whatever you're doing, even if you're out in a volunteer effort and you're sacrificing your time, you're trading your time for that experience, right? And or exposure, how you do it is what people are going to remember of you. Okay. And it's going to become pretty clear to people if you're there to actually give an honest effort towards that endeavor, or if you're just there for exposure and you're just there trying to solicit yourself to others, right? As a professional. That's how you build a brand, right? My philosophy, the Right Sales Team philosophy, is about community service. I think if you start in your community and you focus on things within your community, your name will grow locally. People will get to know you locally, and that will spread. It will spread to other communities, because they have friends and family in other communities. And when they have conversations regarding real estate, they're going to bring your name up. So that is how you build a brand here. It's a slow burn, guys. Okay. I mean, if you want to buy leads and you want to make those calls, that's a whole different way to do it. I hate it. I hate the cold call route. It's not my thing. I never have done it. I can't say I've never done it. I did a little bit with expireds and FSBOs as a new agent, but I hated it. And as soon as my book of business grew enough, I stopped doing any and all that stuff because it's just not, it's because I hate it. What can I say? But through literally decades of community service, I've been able to build a strong brand, build a team. I know many other agents and team leaders who've done the same thing. They're committed to their community. They show up, they're positive, they work hard. And if you go to your community event and you volunteer and you work hard, they may have never been involved or know somebody who's been involved with a real estate transaction and how you approach that. But if they see you approach that community effort with positivity and professionalism and high spirits and good energy, they're going to know that's how you take care of business when it comes to selling real estate or whatever it is you might do. And they're already going to like and trust you and want to give you a shot based on that experience that they had that had nothing to do with real estate. That's how you build your brand, because those people are going to walk away from that experience thinking positively about you as a human being, not just a real estate salesperson or professional, but as a human being. And in the end, that is what's going to drive your business. They're going to go and they're going to tell their friends and family, and they might not have, like I said, a zero experience with you in the arena of a real estate transaction, but they're going to say, hey, this person, they're a real estate agent. I've never done a deal with them, but I'll tell you what, when they showed up to that community outing as a volunteer and they brought this energy, they have to be good at what they do there. They clearly care and they're all about it. I'm sure they work hard. You should at least give them a call. That's how it goes, guys. All right. Building a brand, your market is ubiquitous and your personal and your professional lives are inseparable. Wherever you go, you're on. You're representing yourself as a professional. You're representing your broker. You're representing your business. Okay. And the people, when they see how you behave in any and all situations, that is going to develop their opinion, right? Factual or emotional. And that's going to develop how they think about you and how they speak about you. And that's your brand. It takes time, but it's worth the effort. And once you built it and once you've created that name, you don't have to hunt down business. Folks will bring it to you because they trust you. And that's in the end, in this game, that's the greatest blessing and honor you could possibly ask for. Awesome. That's it about brand building. So let's now move into this week's statistics and wrap up this week's Real Estate Bites. Okay. All right, here, episode number 59. This morning, there were 415 single-family homes on the market. Once again, these statistics are all Lorain County, only Lorain County. And I do not look at manufactured mobile homes. I look at single-family homes and condominiums. Mobile manufacturers, multifamily, they're not included in any of these statistics. These are just single-family residential and condos. I think Lorain County, in my experience, what I see statistically happening in Lorain County correlates pretty well with what I see happening statewide and even nationally on average with the housing market. So I use this as our sample set. So at any rate, again, this morning there were 415 homes for sale in Lorain County. Last week's transactions totaled 81 closed sales. The median square foot of those sales was $1,645. The median value was $255,000. The median square foot price was $163.79. I bring this up a lot. Remember, this is the stat that we're tracking in real time to determine whether or not houses are rising or falling. We talked about demand here a couple weeks ago and how it was seeming to slump, but I'm telling you, even with slumping demand, these prices have remained high. These prices have continued to increase and appreciate through the year. Now, we'll see what happens over the next couple months as we get to see the reaction to that slumping demand and whether or not it really affected prices. Okay, next column here is median days on market for those homes that were sold last week was just 13 days on market. This morning when I checked the mortgage interest rates, it was 6.17% for a conventional 30-year note. And then the big sale of last week was $741,545. This was in the new development at Port West in Avon Lake. It was a 4-bed, 2.5-bath house, 3-car garage. It didn't list square footage, and there were no pictures available online. So that's all we get. And that wraps up this week of Real Estate Bites. As always, thank you guys for joining me. If you find this content fun and worthwhile, please share it with friends and family. As always, take care of yourselves. Take care of one another. I love you, people. Until next time.